Good morning. Welcome to today's meeting of the Assembly Committee on Government Affairs for the 2025 legislative session. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Assembly members Carter.
Present.
DeLong.
Happily here.
De Silva.
Here.
Edgeworth.
Present.
Flanagan. Gallant.
Here.
Golding.
Here.
Gurr. Hunt.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Karras.
Here.
Kasama. Wynn.
Here.
Chair Considine.
I am here, and if when Assembly members Kasama and Flanagan come in, please mark them as present when they arrive. Welcome to the audience here in Carson City, those joining by video conference in Las Vegas, and those listening over the internet. I would like to begin with some housekeeping measures. First, please check and silence your electronic devices. If you wish to testify, please sign in at the table by the door and provide a business card to our committee secretary. When testifying, please turn the microphone on and clearly state your name and any affiliation for the record. Turn the microphone off each time you are done speaking. If providing handouts, please ensure that hard copies are available for members of the public. Electronic copies should have been submitted to our committee manager by 9 a.m. yesterday for our committee members. We expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during the meeting, even if we disagree with someone else's position. I encourage committee members to ask questions and engage with the material presented. If you have any follow-up questions, please flag them for me so we can ensure we balance our time effectively for today's meeting. And committee members will be using their laptops to view handouts and other documents. Please do not interpret this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. And with that, let's get started. Today we will hear two bills. First, we will hear Assembly Bill 133, which revises provisions governing public financial administration, followed by Assembly Bill 278, which designates the month of July as Muslim American Heritage Month. To ensure we get through everyone fairly and in a timely manner, we will set a 20-minute time limit for each period of support, opposition, and neutral testimony, with each speaker having 2 minutes. To ensure we allow as many people as possible to testify, please feel free to say ditto if someone else has already covered your testimony. And I will now open the hearing on Assembly Bill 133. To present this measure, we have Assembly Member Gurr, and he will introduce other presenters. And please go ahead when you're ready.
Good morning, Chair Considine, Vice Chair Wynn, and the outstanding members of the hardest working committee. I have trouble saying that. Hardest working committee in the building, maybe in the state today. For the record, I'm Assemblyman Burt Gurr. I represent District 33 that encompasses Elko, Eureka, White Pine, Lincoln, and most of Nye County. I'm here today to present Assembly Bill 133 for your consideration. This bill originated from discussions with the Elko County Treasurer, the Humboldt County Treasurer, and with the Treasurer from Lincoln County, who was at the time the President of the Treasurers Association. It provides a minimal allocation of funds collected from the sale of tax delinquent properties to allow upgrading technology in the Treasurer's offices. By ensuring our county treasurers have the resources they need, we can bolster their ability to serve our constituents effectively. Although the amount of funding in question is not large, it will go a long way, particularly in our rural counties with a very little tax base. It'll help treasurers fulfill their responsibilities and better support all Nevada communities. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Andrew Razor, who is the treasurer of Douglas County and or Carson City County, or a combination thereof, and also current president of the Association of County Treasurers of Nevada, who will provide a more detailed overview of this bill and the amendments. Thank you. Andrew?
Thank you, Assemblymember Gurr, or Assemblymember and Chair Considine, and members of the committee here. My name is Andrew Razor. I am the treasurer for Carson City, Nevada, which is a consolidated municipality. So Assemblymember Gurr and I had the discussion this morning about whether there's 16 counties or 17 counties in Nevada. As far as AB 133, this is what we call the Treasurer Tech Fund. And in summary, it is not intended to be a primary funding source nor a cure-all to help with the technology needs or shortfalls experienced in each of the 17 counties of Nevada for the treasurer's office or treasurer offices, but rather it will provide the treasurer offices of each county, which are often task saturated with statutory requirements and other fiscal and reporting responsibilities, as well as responding to the needs of the public, with an additional funding mechanism that mirrors other solutions that are already in place for county assessors and recorders under Nevada revised statutes. This bill has 5 sections that establish and define how a treasurer's office will use the supplemental funding, as well as show accountability for the funds on an annual basis. It provides clarity for the term close of business, especially for those treasurer offices that have adjusted work schedules, which has an impact relating to the filing of treasurer certificates and tax deeds, and the last date and time that a property owner can redeem a delinquent parcel of real property. It has a simple process and formula on how a treasurer's office will receive funding for deposit into the tech fund from the excess proceeds derived from the sale of a delinquent property. And it also provides a 10% cap on fees that a recovery agent can charge the former owner of a delinquent property when submitting a claim for the excess proceeds of that delinquent parcel. And so in summary, Section 1, it defines the Treasurer Tech Fund for the assessor or for the county treasurer's office, and it's based on language that's already in place, and in fact, it mirrors word for word the laws that are in NRS for county assessors and recorders' offices. And it states that this funding would only be used to acquire technology or improve technology in the office, to purchase software or hardware, to maintain technology, to train employees on the use of technology in their office, and for contracting with professional services. It's not intended to replace or supplant other monies available from other sources to acquire or use technology. The language for the establishment of this Treasurer Tech Fund, as I said, mirrors those for the Assessor's Office, which is under NRS 250, and also for Recorder's Office, which is under NRS 247. Again, it provides accountability for an annual report to the Board of County Commissioners that is due by July 1st of every year, and it describes expected expenditure of those funds. Section 2 just refers to the close, or the term close of business, as some treasurer's offices in the state go beyond the regular 5 p.m. deadline. Some go past that to like maybe 5:30 or 6. It references the close of business as it relates to the issuance of a tax deed. And so there's a difference between a tax lien and a tax deed. It also references in NRS 361-595, it describes the timelines involved with the sale of a delinquent property, and those are the timelines that a treasurer's office must follow when notifying and doing public notices to not only the delinquent property owner, but to the public at large. And then Section 5, this is where it states in NRS 361-610, this is where it provides that simple formula on how the funding will go about as far as the excess proceeds, the 5%, and how it'll develop. And essentially what it is when you have excess proceeds, the county, the respective county gets the initial $300 from the excess proceeds, followed by the first 10% of the first $10,000. So essentially, it's $1,300 that the county gets up front, and then the excess proceeds are then placed into a separate interest-bearing account where they're held for 1 year until the treasurer's office receives a claim for those excess proceeds. And those individuals that can provide or submit a claim are defined under with that, the way the amendment on this bill is that currently under Nevada revised statute, when a property is sold for a delinquent tax sale, the excess proceeds, like I mentioned, you'll have the separation of the funds that go to the county, and then the remaining funds are then separated into a separate interest-bearing account for 1 year. What we would do in this is that the county would still get that initial $1,300 that is owed to them. The county treasurers would then have the money that is set aside in the interest-bearing account, and the county treasurer, in order to take that 5% for a portion of the tech fund, would have to wait that full year for anybody to submit a claim for the excess proceeds. And so 2 scenarios could happen with that. You could have it where the former property owner submits a claim and then all the excess proceeds are gone and the treasurer's office would receive no funding, or no claim would be submitted, and then at that time under NRS 361-610, the monies then revert automatically to the property of the county, and at that time, that is when the treasurer's office would take that 5% portion from the excess proceeds, put that into that treasurer tech fund, and then the remaining proceeds would then go directly into the county general fund. And so some of the important discussion points that I mentioned, and just to kind of highlight it, is that these excess proceeds are kept in a separate interest-bearing account, so they're separate from regular county money. The county still receives its money up front as far as that $300 plus the first 10% of the first $1,000 or $10,000, and that the treasurer's tech fund is then taken from the excess proceeds that remained after that one-year period. Again, there's no guarantee to the treasurer's offices that you would have a excess proceeds claim. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, this bill also puts a safeguard in there. It puts that 10% cap on recovery agents that are working to submit a claim for excess proceeds on behalf of the former or delinquent property owner. And so some of the questions that you may have would be, why would a treasurer's office have a need for a tech fund? And so some of that is, again, tech is constantly changing, evolving, so you have modernization. As we all are aware, tech has a shelf life, and as things get more complex or the quickening pace of life, there's a need to stay current with modern practices or best practices and industry standards. You have tech obsolescence, you have integration and capability with other tech systems, not only the changing tech market. Some vendors do go out of business. The movement towards cloud storage systems versus having a server on site, the software as a service, so your SaaS systems. There's the cost to store data. That is becoming a big concern for a lot of agencies. The purchase of devices to assist regular treasurer daily functions like mail openers, check scanners. I know for my office, for Carson City, we process not only the tax payments, but also the water utility bills. And so every morning we're processing, 200-300 checks where somebody has to open up those envelopes. They have to be processed through a machine. Somebody has to pull them out, sort them. So these are the things that what I would consider time vampires, that you have to try to reduce that amount of time to you can attend to other functions. And so we have data conversions. And so one of the things that we've seen across the state, even though you might have a tech softwares do go out of business or change or migrate, and you have to do those data conversions. One of the things that we've seen, and this happened to me, is we had a public records request for our tax roll. For the last few years, that's easy to provide. We can go into our data system and provide that, but older bills or tax rolls were kept on microfiche. And so, for example, the tax roll from 1990 to 2000 was kept on a microfiche, and for each year, actually for 1990-91, there was 2,440 slides. So that is, or I should say images, that we had to then transfer over to PDF images, and that took nearly a month just for one person to do that. So there's a lot of time consumption in doing these data conversions. And so there's a lot of uses for the tech. We've looked, talking with the other treasurers as far as kiosks, language services for constituents, and also cybersecurity and fraud protections. One of the things that we're starting to see now is two-factor authentication that is becoming the industry standard now, that governments now have to have. And so making sure that our treasurer's offices have those tech standards in place. And also the purchase of additional licenses, for example, like Adobe Pro. For my office, same thing, only one or two members have it. So for everybody to have that Adobe Pro to make their work more efficient, it would take that purchase of that license. So we do have specific needs for these tech items. And again, this is already language that is available in Nevada law, like I said, for the county assessor's offices and the county recorder's office. And we believe that by having this funding, it'll act not to supplant, but to supplement what can assist us in doing our regular day-to-day jobs.
Thank you, Andrew. Pretty intense, huh? For first thing in the morning to have to listen to the technical side of their business, but it's huge. So with that, we'll sit for questions. I'm not standing up.
Thank you, and that was Assembly Burt Gurr.
Oh,
for the record. And we will, my sign guy's a little slow this morning.
Vice Chair, you forgot to raise a sign.
I need my coffee.
Thank you for the presentation. We will move on to questions. Our first question is from Assembly Member Carter.
Good morning. I'm trying to wrap my head around this because it sounds like, and we've heard a recurring theme of problems funding and revenue sources in counties, and this sounds like it's dicing the pie up even smaller and robbing Peter to pay Paul, taking money away from the county's operating general funds and saying, no, I get that first. How is this not dividing that up even more? We're just parsing it up smaller and smaller and smaller and trying to claim territory before the county officials can designate where they want it to go.
For the record, Andrew Razor, Association of County Treasurers of Nevada. Very interesting question because this is one that does come up. So when you look at the funding, so the monies that are obtained from excess proceeds, counties shouldn't be putting that into their budget as regular operating funds. That should be essentially like a bonus, if you will, that would be extra money coming to them. So when you have the excess proceeds, you have your regular county operating budget, and then the excess proceeds would be just additional money that the counties would receive. So as I mentioned, under NRS 361-610, that provides the formula as to how that distribution is. So, and I use the example of like $100,000. If you had that $100,000 and you were to do the formula that I mentioned, you would have $300 for that initial goes to the county, followed by that first 10% of the 10,000, which is the 1,000. So you have $1,300. So that gives you $98,700. So that right away is your excess proceeds that goes into that separate interest-bearing account for 1 year. And then from there, that has to stay in that account for the county treasurer to then receive a claim and then approve the claim. And then if it is approved, then to make payment on the claim. And you could have multiple individuals make a claim, submit a claim, whether it's the former property owner. You can even have Health and Human Services that are allowed to submit that claim. So the excess proceeds shouldn't be viewed as money that the county should automatically be expected to receive every year, because each tax sale is going to be different based on the amount that is owed for the taxes and the excess proceeds that come in. So for the counties to say that they are dependent on it, I would argue that, again, this is not money that you can count on, especially like for Carson City. I can tell you that in the last 5-6 years, we've only had 2 tax sale or 2 properties go to a tax deed sale. Other counties are different. So on my end, I would not consider that as anticipated or expected revenue. And so I don't know if you have any other question, if I didn't answer that, what you were expecting, or.
I still didn't hear why it should be earmarked, because we're talking about putting an earmark on a piece of money now instead of letting the duly elected county officials decide where that money goes. It's saying, nope, I get to keep it, you guys don't get to touch it. So I don't understand why we're taking money away from the county, whether it be a bonus or not, and saying, no, you must go to here.
What's your question?
Please answer, why?
Again, Andrew Razor for the record. And so, yeah, the money that would go to the county would be those excess proceeds at the very end, not only the $1,300 before, but then the excess proceeds, but it would just be that 5,000, or I mean that 5%. And so it is taking money from the county that would be going to the county, yes, to answer your question, but it's only a small portion. And it's also going off a law that already exists, or mirroring law that exists based on what the assessor tech fund and the tech fund for the recorder's office have. They can have money that is earmarked for them. And so in looking at this, the county commissioners will have a say or a review, because it is every year a report that would go to them in July as to any money that is going into the tech fund, and then they have that oversight of it as well.
If I might, Assemblyman Bert Gurr for the record. I don't want to get signed. Assemblyman, if you don't mind, Chair, direct. Assemblyman Carter, if you look at the way this works, there are counties that won't get anything for years. There's very few tax sales. If a county's budgeting this money, I'm amazed, because there's no guarantee there'll be any. So the counties also are not, as we're well aware, the little counties like Lincoln, White Pine, Eureka, when I say little, they're big in size, small in population, they have very little tax base. So this is a method to help them fund a fund. I think Lincoln County said over the last 2 years that it collected all of $300. If $300 is going to break the county, then we're in way more trouble than we need to be. This is just a start so they can get moving forward, because counties don't always look at the treasurer's problems. I know in our county they don't a lot. I just think this is a real good start. And it's found money is what it boils down to. And if the counties would allocate that back, we wouldn't have to do this in law, but they don't. So they just take the money, the assessors already get it somewhere. Where's that fund come from?
NRS 249 or 247?
Is that funded by the county, or does that come off of this too?
No, it doesn't come off of this.
Okay. So there's technical sides of it that I'm not aware of either, but tax sales are so limited. I think Elko County last year had one. I think they've got a big one coming up, and now that they've gone online with their tax sales, they're making some money on it, or producing some money. I don't know that they're really making money because they've held them for 3 years. It's not a one-year process. This is 3 years that it takes from start to finish before the recorders ever get 5% of what's left over. Does that help answer it?
Thank you. Our next question is from Assemblymember Flanagan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the presentation. And actually, thank you for making some amendments to this bill to make it more palatable. I know in each case, the respective office is looking at the revenue source, like what should be the revenue source. And in some of those cases, the money doesn't return to the general fund. But in that you've made this decision, and I know some counties are small, so they won't see a lot, what are you expecting this to generate for your office? Like how many transaction opportunities? Like in some offices, it's a portion of fees off transaction fees, right? So there's a set amount off of every transaction that happens. And in some offices, like in our major counties, there's a lot of transactions, so it generates a lot of money. And in those cases, that money is just sitting there, rolling over, not going to the general fund. So it's good to see that yours is going to the general fund, because I think in some cases, this creates opportunity for temptation that we don't want to create, but it just does. So how much are you expecting this to generate for you guys?
For the record, Andrew Razor. As far as generating, that would be almost case specific for each county, because, and I'll give you the example that we had here in Carson City for the last tax sale that we had. So back in 2022, the one property that we had to have for a tax deed sale, and it was just because the owner passed away and nobody would step forward from the family to pay the taxes. We received from the excess, or the total sale was $280,000. And after we had paid all the taxes, fees, and other penalties that were associated with it, we had $266,760 that were remaining in the excess proceeds. That was just for that one parcel. And so Carson City, we don't have too many other counties. And speaking with my similar down in Nye County, Raylyn, she has over 200 properties that will go to a tax deed sale. So it all depends on the amount that is owed for it, and then if you started at that minimum amount, so say like the amount that is owed is $15,000 in the property taxes, but then the ending bid or the winning bid is $100,000, then that $100,000 minus that $15,000, you got $85,000. That would be the excess proceeds for that parcel there, and then from there you would remove that $1,300. From the excess proceeds, and that the remaining bit would sit in that interest-bearing account pending any claim. So, but if you have multiple properties, whether it's 10, 20, however many, each property would be different based on the amount of taxes, penalties, and other fees that are owed for that parcel. So it would be dependent on the number of parcels and what each parcel has as its taxes that are outstanding, plus any penalties or fees that are assigned by Nevada law, and then other fees, that could be there, such as recording fees or water delinquencies or other things that the county would then file against that property.
Sure, may I have a quick follow-up? So I'm assuming that to decide that this would work for you, you did some type of projections of what you thought on a annual basis or that it would generate for you. So is there a number in that range of what you just think it will do to help you supply your tech fund with some dollars to do what you need to do?
For the record, Andrew Razor. A good question. I would have to speak with each of the individual county treasurers to find out what they would have from their excess proceeds from the previous years. As Assemblymember Gurr had mentioned, that county shouldn't be budgeting this into their regular budget because you may have it one year and you may not have. I really hope that taxpayers will pay the taxes. I really don't like being in the business of having to sell a property. But the unfortunate part is that Nevada law does require it under NRS 361 that it's a perpetual lien. So we pay it off one year and then come July 1st, you have to pay it over again. So if a property owner doesn't pay, then that's when we're looking at the excess proceeds. And it would be dependent upon each situation and each parcel that has outstanding delinquencies.
For the record, Assemblyman Burger, we, I believe, are going to have some other assessors testifying on the phone today. They may be able to answer that a little better, but a little background. He has one property that he sold in 2 years?
Correct.
That 267,000 he was talking about, they only got 5% of that, to make sure that's clear. In Elko, I'm not sure you're aware how this all works, so I'm going to lay it out real quickly and try not to get too far into the weeds. But we have probably in Elko County somewhere north of 50,000 map lots that have, some of them been sold, some of them haven't. But those go delinquent a lot. So the assessor or treasurer has to work with that. It comes through, they don't get paid. I'll bet half of those every year don't get enough money to pay the taxes. And when we're talking taxes, some of those taxes are $40 a year, $30 a year. So when it's all done, they may owe $1,200 when they go to sale. So the amount of money that they make from doing the sale is hopefully enough to offset having to do the sale under the law. And then whatever's left over, if somebody doesn't come back in and claim it, then they get it. But I've seen a lot of tax sales go for $300 and $400. So we're not talking big money in these things.
Thank you. Our next question is from Assemblymember Kasama.
I believe my colleague already answered the questions. I'm good. Thank you.
Then we will move to Assemblymember Gallant.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. I really like the idea about coming up with a creative way to deal with technology. As we know, like states across the country are just lagging behind when it comes to software. So I commend you guys for coming up with this idea. 5% doesn't sound like a lot when you're talking about the smaller counties. I am curious, did you guys look into what Clark County, what that fund would look like? Again, not that I'm opposed to it, but at the same time, 5% of 1,000 versus 5% of 1,000,000 is very different numbers.
For the record, Andrew Razor. I would have to speak with Clark County Treasurer Ken Diaz just to see how many parcels that go for tax deed sale in Clark County, to get an idea of what he would anticipate his county would receive based on the formula we have described here in the bill. And so I know like Clark County definitely has more. Some of the smaller counties, they may have some, but you're correct that, you might have larger parcels that would go unpaid and then go to tax deed sale, and then that's an open bid, and then the highest bid would then win, and then that's where that excess proceeds come from. So it would be dependent again on the amount of parcels and the amount of excess proceeds developed from each one.
Depending on the economy will depend also on the amount of foreclosures, right? I mean, if you look at 2008, like that was insane. So would you guys consider or be open to maybe capping it?
For the record, Andrew Razor, we would be open to considering it. I would speak with the fellow treasurers of the Association of County Treasurers in Nevada to find out their view on that. I don't think it would be one that they would not take off the table, but I think they would definitely consider it. We're looking, this isn't us trying to take a grab at money. It's really trying for us to get supplemental money to assist us in the day-to-day operations. I mean, we get regular funding from our counties, but this would be a way to supplement those processes and tech needs that we normally don't get, especially when you're having to compete against other budget entities, like a sheriff's office or public safety fire. And so it's just trying to get a way to supplement things that we normally don't have.
Thank you. Our next question is from Assemblymember Goulding.
Thank you, Chair. It seems like the different sized counties probably have very different structures to their budgets, particularly on IT. Did you consider a pop cap on this?
For the record, Andrew Razor. I would have to go back to the historical development of this bill to find out if that was discussed. I'm not aware of it at this time about a cap on the bill, but I could find that information for you.
Our next question is from Assemblymember DeLong.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for the detailed presentation. In the past, the legislature has deemed it appropriate to create these type of funds in different departments within the county. Is that correct?
For the record, Andrew Razor, correct, yes. You do have the assessor's office that does have theirs under NRS 250.085 and the recorder's office under NRS 247.306 that they have their own tech fund based on the structure that's set up for them.
Follow-up, Chair? And so this is basically a similar request to the legislature.
For the record, Andrew Razor, correct. It mirrors almost word for word the same language that is used for the assessors and the recorders. It's just different in how the funding mechanism is applied.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. If I may follow up on that question, you said the county assessors and recorders do the same thing, and the way it's set up is the same wording. But where is this? Do you know the funding streams?
For the record, Andrew Razor, I believe for the assessor's office, it is based on a charge or a fee that they apply, and then for the recorder's office for a filing charge that when individuals file a recording with them, that they get a certain amount based on that.
Thank you for that clarification. Our next question is from Vice Chair Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for bringing this up. This technology piece is one of my wheelhouse. I definitely agree that we need to really modernize things how we do across the state. In fact, faxes was just removed from some of our proceeding because we used to say fax last session, and I don't even know where to find one. All right, so we're not attacking fax today, but the cap, I know some of my colleagues talk about a population cap. That's one thing, because I want to set additional guardrails, and even though we have had this similar language for other office, but I think another part that I'm also concerned about is the rollover, and it keep accumulating, and one day it's going to be bigger than other budgets, right? Are the sponsor considering a cap to that as well, that if the money keep rolling and it exceed a certain amount, that after that amount's reached, it should go back to general fund for the county to use for other things? I think that would be another idea to kind of not turning this into kind of a slush fund.
For the record, Andrew Razor, I would definitely take that back to our membership. I see and understand what you're saying, that in time, how big do these accounts get? And then if they go unspent, now you have, this big, fund like you mentioned. And I don't think that's the intent of this legislation, is to create this big general slush fund. The idea is to supplement, create the tech funding to supplement, not to create a big account. And so I definitely will take it back to the membership to discuss not only a cap, but, if the fund gets to a certain point, what would take place with it then?
Quick follow-up, Chair. So yeah, my intention is not necessarily giving you the enabling language for you to use that, because I agree that we need to update those technologies, but technology, even as it is not going to require it to be updated every single year. Right, so if you do a deployment of, let's say, new machines, and you do that new check counting machine, for example, or new whatever machine, you won't need to replace it for another 2 years, at least. So having it be available and keep accumulating, I do see a concern with that, and if we need to look to change that in other statutes of other offices, that's what we should do as well. But I think I want you all to set a good example, and so that would be my suggestion. So thank you. If you're open to that as well.
For the record, Andrew Razor. Again, I'll take that to the members, but I think we would be open to that. Again, it's the responsibility and accountability. As Assemblymember Gurr had mentioned, that these tax deed sales don't take place every year, especially for some of the smaller counties like mine, whereas others, they may have it. So there would probably be that imbalance between, one county having a lot of money versus another county not having any money. And so that would be, I can see, like you say, the guardrails to make sure that there's that oversight to make sure that it's accounted for correctly.
Thank you. And then my question is sort of along those same lines. I know you've mentioned very early on a lot of the needs, especially tech needs. You had a list early on that seems there's a lot of tech needs. You've also said that there are times where you're not going to have any money in certain years because there could be feast or famine. It could be consistent. There's really no way to know because a lot of it is dependent on so many other factors. And in my experience, if you are doing, getting invested into technology, there is annual fees, there is updates, there are all of these other costs associated to it. So with this being so volatile, if you can explain to me, and I probably have already, I want to include this part of it, how if it's so volatile, how it could be a consistent form of revenue for technology. If some years you may get nothing and other years you may get a lot and you may go a few years with nothing, and how you keep up with your technology when it's so volatile.
Again, for the record, Andrew Razor, and thank you again for that question, because it does bring up the point that this money is to supplement. It's not to be the primary funding source for the tech. And so, as I mentioned earlier, having the tech fund would allow us to perform certain things. For example, like the transition of the tax rolls from the previous stored medium. I have it on microfiche carts, from the 1990s and 80s. At that time, that was the tech at the time. Now, trying to put it up into, PDF or some other system now requires more time to do that. And so it's not to say that we have to have that done immediately, but when we have the money, that's when we would like to start making that transition. And that's one of the things is you kind of have the technical debt that you've inherited from the years. And my predecessor, at the time thought, putting things onto CDs and the microfiche was the way to go, and that was. And 20 years from now, my successor will probably be looking, why did I do, certain things? So the idea is to use the tech fund to supplement and to, when we have the money, to be able to do the things that we need to do to augment that money that we don't have normally from our budgets. Right now, we're going through the budget process for Carson City, and budget is going to be slim. I mean, the Carson City only has so much money to go around. We have to repair roads, public safety, new fire truck, and so there's a limited amount of money. The city does provide money for tech, but it can only provide so much, and then the rest is based on my department and the other departments now to do with what we can. And a lot of times it's really going back to old school ways, having to open, mail ourselves, process checks ourselves. And so when it comes to like the tax roll, like I mentioned, I had to do this a couple of months ago where it was literally scanning it from one PDF image onto a big file so that we could provide that tax roll. So if we have it, that's when it would be a benefit to us. And if we don't, then it's still making do with what we have and then waiting for the funds to update or modernize or do those data conversions.
Thank you. So this is more project-based when you have the money. You're just tying it to tech.
For the record, Andrew Razor, it is project-based, but it also does include training for staff and personnel so they can learn how to better use it. For example, we use the Tyler Muna system at Carson City, and Tyler is a beast when it comes to knowing how to use it. And being able to send individuals from our staff to learn how to use Tyler, to network with other individuals, that's a benefit. Because the thing that I've seen with tech is you have the salespeople that sell you the product and say, this is the greatest thing. And then you actually have the programmer that then shows you how to use it. But a lot of times there's that big discrepancy between how to use it and what the sales pitch was. And so now you have to send people to train or sometimes just learn it, by day-to-day functions. And so having a tech fund like this would allow us to, provide training to staff so they can better learn how to use the systems to, navigate it. And so it's just not a matter of like data conversions, but has a broad spectrum of what we could do for it that is not regularly available to us in our annual budgets.
Thank you. And I think we've done all of the first round questions requested. We do have some additional questions from some Assembly members who have already asked. So we're just going to go through those. We'll start with Assembly Member Flanagan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've had a good deal of conversation about guardrails around this bill and I applaud you for trying to find an innovative way to move forward. And I know that we're talking about, you've often mentioned different sizes of the counties. So I guess my question is, would you be open to looking at different guardrails based on county size? Because as Assemblymember Gallant mentioned, Clark County is much larger, Washoe County is larger, so they may see these types of transactions in greater amount. And so when the money starts to stack up, it is a different situation. So would that be something, or could you get us some research that shows what this looks like? Because I can't believe this bill has been thought of and there wasn't some consideration given to looking at the projections of what revenue would be generated in larger counties. I understand the smaller counties may take longer, but I can't imagine that you didn't do some type of projections on what type of numbers would be generated. And I would love to see that.
For the record, Andrew Razor, yes, I definitely would speak with the members, and then also to find out, like you said, about the larger counties, such as Clark, what would be the anticipated revenue or projected revenue that they would get every year, just to provide you that information so that we could see, how much it could accrue, or how much could accrue versus how much could be utilized each year.
Thank you. And the last question is from Assemblymember Goulding. Well, then that was our last question. Thank you so much for the presentation and for answering all of the questions. We will now move to testimony on the bill. Testimony can be provided in person here in Carson City, via video conference in Las Vegas, or over the phone. Further instructions for providing testimony on a bill can be found on the agenda. We are maintaining a 20-minute time limit for periods of support, opposition, and neutral testimony, with each speaker having 2 minutes. And as a reminder, support means that you approve the measure as written or as written along with the proposed amendments that have been accepted or approved by the sponsor. Opposition means that you do not approve the measure as written, including if you wish to propose your own amendments that have not been approved by the sponsor. And neutral testimony means that you are offering a particular insight on the measure but expressing no position. We will start here in Carson City for testimony in support of Assembly Bill 133. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Chair Considine, Vice Chair Nguyen, and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Jennifer Berthiaume, that's Berthiaume, Government Affairs Manager, at the Nevada Association of Counties, or NACO, whose members represent all 17 counties. Our members view the Treasurer's Office as a very important and public-facing county service and appreciate that this bill provides new guidelines for handling excess proceeds from property sales, ensuring that a portion of those proceeds are reserved for technological improvements. This has the potential for long-term benefits not only for property owners, but the efficiency of county operations overall. This allocation of funds will help all 17 counties improve systems, making it easier for taxpayers to interact and access government services in the future. For these reasons, NACO supports AB 133 and would like to thank Assemblymember Gurr for bringing this bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in Carson City wishing to testify in support? Seeing no one, we will move to Las Vegas. Is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in support of Assembly Bill 133? Seeing no one approach the table, AVH, is there anyone on the phone in support of AB 133?
To testify in support of Assembly Bill 133, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon. This is Commissioner Mike Reese from Lincoln County. I am calling in support of AB 133 along with our Treasurer's Department. I'd like to remind everybody that this only goes into action if there is a tax sale. We as counties would wish there wasn't any tax sale. People would just pay their bills. We would all be much better off if that happened. It doesn't. So for us, we have a lot of vacant land. We have a lot of land that maybe have a storage shed on it or whatever. We don't have the couple $100,000 homes that some of the other counties may have on those. So with that, we are talking in hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars, but we're in support of this because it creates an avenue for if and when anything ever happened like that where we could make some money, we would be in favor of being able to supplement our Treasurer's Fund for that. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Considine and members of the committee. My name is Rona Leckenberry. I am the treasurer for Humboldt County. Thank you for hearing AB 133, and many thanks to Assemblyman Gurr for sponsoring this bill on behalf of the Association of County Treasurers of Nevada. I am calling in support of AB 133. This bill would allow treasurers to purchase and maintain technology without pulling from budgeted general fund resources. If I may offer a couple pieces of information, the recorders and clerks tech funds are monetized by fees that they charge. The assessors is based on a percentage of personal property tax. For Humboldt County in 2022, if this bill had been in place, it would have resulted in $4,292 for the tech fund for Humboldt County, and in 2023, it would have resulted in $8,402. So there is a disparity, making projections, a definitive projection, a little bit difficult. Again, I just want to thank you for considering AB 133 and offer my support. Thank you. Caller with the last three digits 694, please press *6 to unmute yourself.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Paul. I'm the Elko County Treasurer and past president of Acton. I'm in support of AB 133, and I would like to ditto Rona Leckenberry's comments that she made prior. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is, for the record, Kathleen Schaefer, Kathleen Schaefer, Shaffer. I reside in Carson City. I was actually waiting to speak on AB 278, but as I was listening to everyone, it became apparent that this is a good idea. I need a little tweaking in some areas, but I am in support of Bert Gurr bringing this to the floor. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Chair. We have no additional callers in support at this time.
Thank you. We will now move to testimony in opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition to AB 133? Seeing no one, we'll go to Las Vegas. Is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in opposition to AB 133? Seeing no one, AVH, we're back to you for testimony in opposition.
To testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 133, please press *9 to take your place in the queue.
Barry Johnston, Las Vegas, BERRYJOHNSTON. Good morning, employees. Nevada was once a no-tax state. where we live free from government theft. But you, addicted to tax and spend religions, seek to expand your socialized bureaucracy, ruling over us like lords over peasants. This bill is not about found money, it's stolen property. The parasite does not find blood, it drains its host. You take land for unpaid taxes, sell it, and hoard the spoils to fund your own offices. This isn't governance, it's legalized plunder. Government creates nothing, it only steals from those who do. Now you seek to modernize systems to rob us, ensuring it runs smoother, faster, and grows stronger against the people it's meant to serve. And I ask, where is the GOP? Where are those who claim to defend private property and personal liberty? Why aren't you fighting against this stuff? You are not representing Nevada conservative values. You're feeding parasites instead of crushing them. I ask you, what right do you have to our homes? What justice exists in robbing the struggling to keep the spoils? If someone loses their land, let it be by their own folly, not by grasping hands of tax collectors. Reject this tyranny. Let Nevada stand for freedom, not for bureaucracy. Greed. No more taxation without true representation. The government is not our master, it's our servant. And the GOP sitting muzzled and controlled by socialists this session, what are you more afraid of? The socialists who control your voice or the voters who will hold you accountable? Have a good day. Please stop spending our money.
Chair, we have no additional callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. We will move to neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in neutral on AB 133? Seeing no one, we'll go to Las Vegas. Anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in neutral on AB 133? Seeing no one, AVH, we're back to you for any neutral testimony on the bill.
To testify in neutral for Assembly Bill 133, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Again, if you wish to testify in neutral, please press star 9. Chair, we have no callers wishing to testify in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Would the presenter like to come up to make any final remarks?
Thank you, Chair Considine. For the record, my name is Bert Gurr. I represent District 33. I know you've read the amendment we had in. I'd get to amend the bill one more time, just for knowledge. Some of the timing on this bill coming out didn't allow me to circulate it very well. But I have several names I'd like to add as we go through to amend it to support. And I have one of them that's actually said yes. A couple more have said as soon as you get it to me. But I'd like to add Assemblymember Torres Fawcett as a co-sponsor of the bill. And I believe Assemblymember DeLong and Assemblymember Gallant all want to get on, and I will add more later. Well, my closing remarks are, Madam Chair and members of the hardest working committee in the United States today, I urge your support of this bill as amended. Strengthening the capabilities of our county treasurers is not only a prudent step, but also necessary to maintain and enhance the vital infrastructure and services that sustain our communities. Thank you for consideration, and I respectfully request your support of AB 133.
Thank you very much. I will now close the hearing on AB 133. And I will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 278, which designates the month of July as Muslim American Heritage Month. To present this measure, we have Assembly Member Miller and Assembly Member Nadeem. Please go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Chair Constantine, and good morning to you, Chair, as well as the other members of the committee. I am Brittany Miller, representing Assembly District 5 in Clark County, and today I present Assembly Bill 278, which designates the month of July as Muslim American Heritage Month. I am extremely proud to be a member of the multicultural fabric that makes up this great state. Nevada citizens represent countless backgrounds, identities, and belief systems, and it is critical for all of us to engage and embrace this wide variety of viewpoints and lived experiences. This helps us all become more well-rounded, informed citizens. Informed. There are about 3.5 million Muslims in the United States, about 1.9 billion worldwide. That's about 1 in 4 people. Muslims are rooted in at least 77 countries that primarily identify as white, black, Arab, and Asian, with 57 of these countries as majority Muslim nations. Muslim Americans are an extremely diverse population, a tapestry of ethnic, racial, linguistic, social, and economic groups. The arrival of Muslims to the American colonies began with indentured workers, but during the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, countless but known to be in the millions of Africans were brought to the United States and enslaved. During the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries, successive waves of immigration brought additional Muslims from countless countries around the world of every race, color, and economic background to the United States, pursuing economic, professional, and social opportunity, as well as religious freedom. They have and continue to contribute to every part of our society by making advancements and participating in architecture, arts, business, culture, government, law, medicine, science, humanitarian efforts, education, the military. In fact, we currently have 4,500 Muslim Americans serving in our armed forces on active duty, as well as 2,300 as selected service in the armed forces. And of course, many serving in law enforcement. We have leaders in religion and politics, and of course, we have more recognizable individuals who have gained fame and a lot of recognition in entertainment and sports. While I'd love to go through a list of amazing accomplishments and history makers and trendsetters, everything from the invention of the ice cream cone to Muslim soldiers who actually fought under the direct command of General George Washington in the Revolutionary War. I know we don't have time for that, and that would be a wonderful class. Just as well would be exploring more into the actual tenets of the faith, culture, and community. But right now, the one thing I want us to all embrace is that Muslim Americans and Nevadans are our coworkers, our neighbors, our friends, our doctors, our teachers, for some of us, our family members, and even our electeds. Yet, being the second largest faith in the world, Islam is still a faith that, for the most part in the United States and Nevada, is misunderstood, rendering the community and its proud, determined, resilient members feeling often invisible. Moreover, nearly 50% of Muslim Americans have reported experienced religious discrimination. And that number rises to 64% of Muslim Americans when their appearance identifies them as such as women who wear a hijab or headscarf. Hate crimes and violent crimes against members of the faith have dramatically increased. But we are in Nevada, the third most diverse state in our country, and I've been proud of the strides that we have made in this legislative body to make sure that all Nevadans feel welcomed, accepted, safe, and included. I was extremely honored when I was asked to sponsor this bill, because there is the need for public education, awareness, and policies that help people become more culturally competent when describing, discussing, or addressing the impacts as well as the needs, issues, and concerns of our Muslim Nevadans. As such, we Nevadans should prioritize opportunities to learn about the history and contributions of different cultures, which is exactly what Assembly Bill 278 intends to do. Assembly Bill 278 is an opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate the heritage, culture, and contributions of our Muslims here in Nevada by recognizing July as Muslim American Heritage Month. We also have the ability to join Michigan, Utah, New Jersey, Washington, Connecticut, Illinois, and North Carolina, who all have a designated Muslim American Heritage Month. There are even more states attempting to do so, and last year Congress had a resolution as well. Additionally, there are even more cities and counties throughout the country that have already done this, including our own Clark County, who passed a resolution last year. Specifically, Assembly Bill 278 designates the month of July of each year as Muslim American Heritage Month in the state of Nevada and requires the governor to annually issue a proclamation encouraging its observance. The proclamation may include calling upon the media, state and local officers, private nonprofit groups and foundations, schools, businesses, and other public and private entities to bring attention to the important contributions Muslim Americans have made to Nevada and the United States. With that, I would like to acknowledge the person who needs no introduction, but our first Muslim elected legislator, Hannati Nadeem. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to work alongside of her and the representation that she brings. And now I will turn it over to her so that you can hear directly from her what this means to her personally and how this impacts her as a person, as well as her family and her community. And I'm honored to serve alongside of her and present this bill with her during the observance of Ramadan.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair. I am Assembly Member Hannati Nadeem, representing Assembly District 34. As the first Muslim American in Nevada State Legislature, I am thrilled and grateful to co-sponsor AB 278, which designates July as Muslim American Heritage Month. Recognition of Muslim American Heritage Month promotes understanding and appreciation of Muslim cultures, helping to combat stereotypes and misconceptions. It encourages dialogue and fosters relationships between diverse groups, promoting unity and mutual respect. It encourages solidarity and connection among diverse communities by promoting shared values of respect, tolerance, and dialogue. It offers an opportunity to reflect on the historical experiences of Muslims, including their struggles and achievements, which enrich the broader narrative of society. With your permission, Chair, I would like to highlight few contributions of Muslim community. Muslim doctors in U.S. have made significant contributions to healthcare research and medical education. Many Muslim doctors work in community health clinics, providing essential healthcare services to underserved population, offering affordable care. During public health crises such as COVID-19 pandemic, Muslim doctors have been at the forefront, providing medical care, leading vaccination efforts, and educating public about health and safety protocols. Many Muslim doctors serve as educators in medical schools, training the next generation of healthcare professionals. Many engage in community service projects. These contributions reflect the integral role of Muslims in enhancing healthcare and promoting health equity within the American medical system, as well as their commitment to serving diverse communities. Muslim communities places a strong emphasis on education, leading to increased participation in higher education and contributions to research across various fields. Muslim Americans have become more engaged in political processes, running for office and advocating for policies that reflect the need of their communities. Many Muslim organizations focus on charitable giving, supporting various causes such as education, disaster relief, and poverty alleviation, contributing to community development. These contributions demonstrate the Muslim community's vital role in shaping a diverse, inclusive, and dynamic American society. Muslim Heritage Month will serve as a reminder of the interconnectedness of cultures and the importance of embracing diversity in shaping our world today. Respected Chair and dear members, I urge you to support this bill. Thank you so much.
And with that, we are ready for any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. We will start with questions. Our first question is from Assemblymember DeLong.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for the presentation. So in doing research preparation for hearing this bill. I did notice that the House Resolution 989 in the 118th Congress expressed support for recognizing January as Muslim American Heritage Month. And in Michigan, which has one of the largest Muslim populations of all the states, also recognizes January. With that in mind, why did you select July?
I absolutely told the people that asked me to, this is Brittany Miller for the record, I absolutely told the members of the community who asked me to sponsor this that very question. Obviously, as someone born and raised in Michigan, you know, that was my question as well, is that Michigan being one of the largest population of Arab and Muslims, and of course with Congress, their attempts, there was also, they had selected January. However, the majority of the other states had selected July. And with that, Clark County had designated July back last year. So it was just to stay consistent with what Clark County had already done.
Thank you, Chair.
But I knew that question was coming, so thank you for that.
Our next question is from Assemblymember Hunt. Our next question is actually from Assemblymember De Silva.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Assembly Members Miller and Nadeem, for bringing this very important legislation finally to the People's House. So my question really is, you know, I know that we have a Muslim Heritage Month now in Clark County. Can you just talk about how it's played out there, how it's been a real coalescing now of the community when it comes to educating the community about Muslim Americans, their contributions to Clark County, and how this could be widened now at the state level? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Well, I think that in any time that we have celebration, and again, Clark County being our largest and most diverse county, it's one thing, and you know, we have strong populations where we're able to celebrate and embrace and even, you know, live with one another, but this would be expanding it to the entire state, because I think the one thing that people don't recognize about our state is there's this perception that our diversity is only in Clark County, and we know that's not true, that, you know, all throughout this state, we find diversity. So again, it would just be expanding it so that it would be an entire state that celebrates and recognizes together.
Right, our next question is from Assemblymember Jackson.
Thank you, Chair, and assalamu alaikum. How can recognizing Muslim American Heritage Month combat religious discrimination in our society?
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. First, I will say wa alaikum assalam. So, yeah, this will bring, when we will celebrate this month, the month of July as a Muslim Heritage Month, it will bring communities together. They will know more about the contributions of Muslims in America. And it will also bring the good things, the religion and the Muslim faith brings forward, that is honesty, integrity, bringing communities together, charity, giving to the people who deserve. And this is a very important month. This is a month of Ramadan when which we celebrate, and we celebrate with the other communities. We bring them for the iftar, and today there's going to be iftar at Nevada Legislature. I would like to invite all of you. Sorry, Chair, I'm Assemblymember Hanadi Nadeem. With that, I would love to invite all of you to Nevada Legislature building, room number 31, for iftar, to have iftar with the other Muslim communities. That's how we bring all the diversity, all the communities together. Thank you so much.
Brittany Miller for the record. I would also like to add to that one of the biggest things that combats discrimination, racism, bigotry, fear is knowledge. And so the ability, and especially in such a richly diverse state, the ability to not just obtain information from certain media portrayals or certain small case scenarios, but to actually be in a fellowship with with individuals who may be different from you, and have that ability to ask questions. And the best thing I can encourage is, if you're curious, ask a question. To ask one another about the similarities and the differences in faiths, as well as customs and practices, everything from, growing up as a kid, different foods that different groups eat because we identify to different nationalities or religions or even socioeconomic groups, right? And so I believe that it is, the thing about religion, we can't always just look at someone and know their religion, unlike a color or a race or a nationality, where we often can. So a lot of times, people may not even realize the religion of someone that they love, someone they consider their best friend, someone who has been one of the most significant influences or supporters in their life, their best doctor, the neighborhood police officer, their mailman that they love. And so I think it's always important that, again, exposure and knowledge, because that's what combats those stereotypes that is pumped to us often through the media or entertainment. So it's important for us to be together in fellowship and have those opportunities to ask questions and learn from one another. And within our faiths, to understand that they're not actually as different. And I know we don't, I'll say this, the most beautiful thing about the United States of America is that our very first amendment is freedom of religion. Freedom to have it, whichever one we choose, freedom to practice it, freedom to not have any of it, freedom to not force it on other people, but also the freedom of religion. And that when we understand the similarities and understand maybe some cultural differences, I think it just helps us all embrace humanity and one another more.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from committee members? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation. I would like to move on to testimony on the bill. Again, testimony can be provided in person in Carson City, via video conference in Las Vegas, or over the phone. Further instructions for providing testimony on a bill can be found on the agenda. Also, we will continue to maintain a 20-minute time limit for the periods of support, opposition, and neutral testimony, with each speaker having 2 minutes. And as another reminder, support means that you approve the measure as written. There are no amendments to this bill, so you approve the measure as written. Opposition means that you do not approve of the measure as written. And neutral means that you are offering particular insight on a measure, but expressing no position. I would like to begin with testimony in support here in Carson City on Assembly Bill 278, and please go ahead when you're ready.
Good morning, Chair Considine and Vice Chair Nguyen, and esteemed committee. For the record, my name is Shireen Lumibao, CHARINE-LOMIBAO, and I am honored to speak on behalf of One APIA Nevada, a grassroots nonprofit dedicated to empowering Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities. Today, I stand in full support of Assembly Bill 278 because recognizing Muslim American Month is more than just a symbolic gesture. It is a powerful affirmation of the rich diversity that strengthens our state. This designation would provide our Muslim community members with a well-deserved opportunity to celebrate their culture, traditions, and contributions to Nevada while fostering greater understanding and unity among us. At One API in Nevada, we wholeheartedly uplift and celebrate the identities of Muslim Americans, and we believe this recognition is a meaningful step forward toward inclusivity and belonging. We urge your support for AB 278 to honor and embrace the vibrant Muslim community in Nevada, and thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Good morning, Chair Considine and Vice Chair Nguyen and esteemed committee. For the record, my name is Simar Jolly. That's spelled SIMARJOLLY. And I'm here to testify in support of AB 278. While I'm not Muslim myself, my experience with the South Asian Women Alliance of Nevada has allowed me to interact and work with the Muslim community in Southern Nevada. Moreover, as a high schooler, I've witnessed how important cultural visibility and recognition is, especially in regards to our youth. This bill allows young Muslim Americans the recognition they deserve. When people recognize and celebrate your heritage, it fosters understanding and belonging, which at the end of the day is what we all want. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Farah Atchison. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm honored to support this bill to recognize Muslim American Heritage Month in Nevada. This bill is a crucial step in acknowledging and celebrating the significant contributions of Muslim Americans to our society, while also fostering a deeper sense of unity and understanding within our diverse community. Nevada, like the rest of the United States, is a mosaic of different cultures, religions, and backgrounds. Our diversity is not only a strength, but a reflection of the values that make our nation great, value of inclusion, respect, and mutual understanding. By officially designating July as Muslim American Heritage Month, we recognize the profound contributions of Muslim Americans in the field of art, science, politics, business, and social justices, as well as the positive impact on the moral fabric of our community. Religious harmony and inclusions are cornerstone of our shared values as Nevadans and as well as Americans. In my interaction with people from various walks of life, I've consistently seen the positive effects of initiatives that promote awareness of religion and cultural diversity. Muslim Americans are an integral part of our community, and their stories, struggle, and successes are a vital part of Nevada's broader narrative. This bill also is a reminder of the importance of standing up against hate and prejudice in all forms. By designating a month to honor Muslim American heritage, we send a clear message that we are committed to creating a society where every individual, regardless of their faith, is valued, respected, and included. We are a community that thrives on our differences, and it's through our efforts like these we can truly demonstrate the spirit of unity that lies at the heart of our nation. Also, I would like to give a shout out to my friend whose organization, Nevada Peacemakers, provides free eyeglasses and does free homeless feeding for the past 19 years in the state of Nevada. I urge you to support Bill 278, as it will not only honor Muslim American heritage, but also serve as a powerful symbol of our collective commitment to diversity, inclusion, and religious harmony. Together, we can create a more compassionate, understanding, and unified Nevada. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Elliot Mallon, for the record, here on behalf of the Anti-Defamation League. The Anti-Defamation League, we stand in support of all communities and uplifting all communities. On a short, not funny, but funny story. Yesterday morning, I rushed here thinking this hearing was then, because I had this communication that was extremely Islamophobic, filled with anti-Muslim hate. Many of you I've had the privilege of knowing for a long time, and some of you were just starting our friendship now. For those that have known me know that I'm a Jewish Nevadan. I understand the hate that our Muslim neighbors experience, and I was uncomfortable with the email that I received. So on behalf of the Anti-Defamation League, I want to say we stand in full support. Uplifting all communities is good for Nevada. As the bill sponsor said, Assemblymember Miller, we're an incredibly diverse state. That diversity is something I think we should all celebrate. Every member of every faith makes up every political party in this state. There are Muslim Republicans, Muslim Democrats, Muslim Independents. There are Jewish Republicans, Jewish Democrats, Jewish Independents. We are all part of the Nevada fabric, so I urge your support, and I thank the sponsors for bringing this forward. Thank you.
Oh, I don't think it's working. Oh, hello. My name is Noor Nadeem, Noornadeem, and I'm currently a second-year UNLV student majoring in biological sciences. I'm here to testify in support of AB 278, and I believe that this bill is more than just about recognition. It's about fostering understanding, inclusivity, and celebrating the diversity that brings our communities together. As a Muslim college student myself at UNLV, one of the most diverse universities here in our country, I've had people come up to me and say Ramadan Mubarak, recognizing our holy month. And I believe that this goes to show that people are becoming more and more aware of our Muslim culture. And I believe that AB 278 would take this recognition even further by allowing the opportunity for more people to become more aware of our Muslim culture and by being engaged, learning more, and just connecting with our communities in general. So I encourage my peers and my leaders to support AB 278 and take a meaningful step towards a more inclusive and informed society. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Nadeem Tariq, Mohammad, last name Nadeem, and I am testifying in support of AB 278 because this bill shows the diversity of America, encouraging more people to come here and grow the population, creating more economic I forgot the word. Economic growth, and I urge you to support AB 278.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Alejandra Rodriguez, Nevada System of Higher Education, and she would also like to add its support to this bill, and we'd like to thank Assemblymember Miller for bringing this forward. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here in Carson City wishing to testify in support of AB 278? Okay, we will move to Las Vegas. We already have some folks at the table, so please go ahead. You have 2 minutes, and please state and spell your name.
Good morning, Madam Chair and member of committee. My name is Sharifa Wahab, SHARIFA-WAHAB. And as a Muslim woman, I'm here to express my strong support for Assembly Bill AB 278, which honors Muslim Heritage Month. This bill represents an important step and recognizes the contribution of the Muslim community and promoting cultural understanding. I would also like to thank Assemblywoman Brittany Miller and Assemblywoman Hadi Nadeem for introducing this bill and presently urge the committee to support it. As a Muslim woman, I serve my community through my nonprofit, provide free eyeglasses, free healthcare, assisting seniors, and helping feeding the homeless. Doesn't matter what religion they are and what culture, what color. Therefore, they are part of my commitment to give back and supporting the well-being of others. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. Thanks.
Good morning, Chair Considine and Assembly members. My name is, for the record, Jacqueline, Jaclyn, Knitter, Knitter. I'm a member of the Muslim community here in Las Vegas and an AAPI member, and I support Bill AB 278. When I submitted my written opinion in support of this bill online a couple of days ago, I was surprised to discover that many of my fellow constituents had argued that recognizing minority Americans divides us as a people. I know, as someone who holds degrees in political science and history and who grew up abroad, that it is, on the contrary, this brand of ignorance that divides us as Americans. It is resistance to truth that divides us. To echo what Representative Miller highlighted, our various heritage months in the U.S. are actually valuable tools for education. They've allowed me to learn about cultures different from my own through books at the library, through films, and at public festivals. There is no better time for Muslim Americans to be recognized and embraced by our communities as peers with our brothers and sisters of other religious backgrounds. Moreover, it is time for our state government to publicly recognize the Muslim community as a source of knowledge, since we can no longer ignore the fact that we do not understand the world unless we understand Islam. May we as Nevadans evolve to become less dismissive and more curious about the contributions of people we're unfamiliar with, and learn that recognition is a prerequisite for trust and a sense of comfort in our world, our neighborhoods, and within our own families. For these reasons, I support AB 278. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings be upon you. My name is Rokai Yusufzai, Rokai Yusufzai. Madam Chair, Assembly members, especially Assembly Miller, Assembly Nadeem, I thank you, and especially Sister Farah from Southern Nevada. What you guys have done to make legacy come true, to represent our community at large, means a lot to all of our community members. A lot of hard work has gone into this to bring it to the day like this, to be able to present. I want to share a couple of some things with you. As a child, when you go to a playground and you see other children playing, what is the first thing that comes to you? Your thought. Hi, would you like to be my friend? We don't ask about their name. We don't ask about their religion. We don't care about the ethnicity. We just want to have a friend. Jesus, peace be upon him, Moses, peace be upon him, and many other prophets that came through time are written in the Quran. There's chapters written about Prophet Moses, Prophet Jesus, peace be upon them, in the Quran. There's a chapter written about Virgin Mary, how she conceived the child. There's a chapter about Saint John. There's many, many things that are written in the Quran that are good throughout the history of life that people should take the time to learn and educate themselves. How do we educate ourselves? What is heritage? If we take out the word Muslim from this word itself, when we focus on a heritage, what is heritage? Bringing cultures, diversity into a community, injecting humanity, quote unquote, on that one. To give you a little history on the Vikings, how do we learn about the Vikings? They existed thousands of years ago. Their history was actually written by Ahmad, the son of Fadlan, which we call Ibn. He was a Muslim scholar and a traveler that traveled with the Vikings. And because of him writing the history of them, the Vikings, now we have Hollywood movies. Now we have books. Now we have many educational things about the Vikings.
I'm sorry,
so what is
sir,
our purpose?
I'm sorry, it has been 2 minutes for your testimony. If you could please wrap it up. We have a defined period of time to get through Las Vegas and callers. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So there's a need for public education, awareness, and policies. We need 278 to pass so we can share our heritage and be there for everyone that has a question. Please ask. We're here for you. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kanabek Umetaliyev, Kanybek Umetaliyev. I'm father of 5 kids, business owner of senior care home in North Las Vegas, and husband of hospice nurse practitioner. I represent Muslim community and Central Asian diaspora, and I support this bill, AB 278.
Hi, my name is Atabek Klishbek, Atabek Kylybchbek. I am 13 years old, and I'm in support of Bill AB 278 because I think as a Muslim kid, it would be cool to celebrate Muslim Heritage Month with my family and friends. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Janabek Kalishbek, Zhanybek, Kylybchbek. I am 11 years old, and I support Bill AB 278 because I think it would be amazing to be able to celebrate Muslim Heritage Month with my family and friends. Thank you for hearing.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in Las Vegas wishing to testify in support of AB 278? Seeing none, AVH, is there anyone on the lines willing to or wishing to testify in support of AB 278?
If you'd like to testify in support of AB 278, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Please go ahead, caller.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Aziz Erebar. As an imam and a religious leader, I'm deeply privileged to express my support of Assembly Bill 278, designating July as Muslim American Heritage Month in Nevada. This legislation marks an important milestone in acknowledging the invaluable contribution of Muslim Americans and promoting greater unity in our diverse society. Nevada, like the rest of the country, thrives because of its rich tapestry of cultures, faiths, and traditions. Our diversity is a source of strength, embodying the principle of inclusion, mutual respect, and understanding that defines America. Establishing July as a Muslim American Heritage Month will provide an opportunity to celebrate the profound impact Muslim Americans have made in areas such as the arts, science, public service, business, and advocacy. Promoting religious harmony and inclusivity is a cornerstone of our values as Nevadan and as Americans. I have personally seen the power of faith in bringing people together and fostering genuine connections. Muslim Americans are an integral part of our community, and their experiences and achievements are woven into the fabric of Nevada collective story. Furthermore, passing this bill would send a clear and resounding message. We stand in solidarity against bigotry and discrimination. Recognizing Muslim American heritage affirms our dedication to building a society where all individuals, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs, are valued and respected. Celebration like this deepen our understanding of one another and strengthen the bonds that unite us. I wholly urge you to support Assembly Bill 278. By doing so, you will contribute to honoring the legacy of Muslim Americans and reaffirm Nevada's unwavering commitment to diversity, inclusion, and unity. Let us work together to create a future where every community is celebrated and every voice matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we have about 4 minutes left in support. Callers, if you come on the line, if something that you want to say has already been said, please say ditto so we can get through the callers in the time frame. Thank you. Next caller.
Good morning, and ditto to so much of what was already said about the importance of incorporating Muslim American culture into our Heritage Months. My name is Mercedes Krause, Krause, and today I'm speaking in favor. My family and I are in support of this Heritage Month. In the spirit of inclusivity and recognition, we draw parallels with already existing Heritage Months, which do include Jewish American Heritage Month and Hindu Heritage Month, among others. And just as we honor the rich traditions and achievements of wonderful cultures of Nevadans from so many backgrounds, we can also celebrate the unique heritage of Muslim Americans, which will serve to remind us of the importance of coexistence and mutual respect among diverse traditions. So, saying ditto on so much, including underscoring the importance of coexistence and mutual respect, together with this addition to the rich representation of the state's Heritage Months, we can expand and share in celebration of our shared identity as Nevadans. So thank you so much for your consideration.
Yes, good morning. This is Dr. Faisal Suba, FAI, SAL, SUBA, calling from Las Vegas. I'm calling in support of AB 278. I feel that this bill is an amazing opportunity for Nevadans to show the acceptance and the valued contributions that Muslim Americans have made, not only in Las Vegas, but in the country as a whole. I think this is it's a bill that can be very highly impactful with a very low cost attached to it, and showing how progressive Nevadans have become in accepting other nationalities, other ethnic groups, other religions, and how we are a cohesive group and we can move forward. I was very impressed to hear there was an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old that just came and testified. Imagine how impactful that could be for them. Growing up here in Nevada and being in an inclusive society where they can feel included and feel benefited by the legislature for approving this bill. Thank you so much.
Hello, good morning. My name is Hugh Lee. That's H-I-E-U-L-E. I'm testifying on my own personal time as a parliamentarian of the AUPI Democratic Caucus, and just ditto everything. And just like the famous World Esports Bill, this is about inspiring our future generations to believe in themselves and to believe on progressing that historical. Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 481, if you press *6, you can unmute yourself and begin.
Hi, my name is Austin Daly, AUSTINDALY, calling on behalf of the University of Nevada, Reno, in support of AB 278. I'm happy to support this bill to help provide additional recognition of Muslim American heritage and culture here in Nevada, and to honor their historical contributions to our local communities. Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 552, if you'd like to press *6 to unmute yourself, you may begin. Caller, please press *6 to unmute yourself so you can speak.
Good morning. My name is Huda Haji, Houdahajji. I'm here to support Bill AB 278 for recognizing the July Muslim month. Thank you for your support. Thank you.
If you have recently joined and would like to testify in support of AB 278, please press *9 to take your place in the queue. Caller, you may press *6 to unmute your phone and share your comments.
This is good morning. This is Sadia Aftab from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here
here to support AB 278 to recognize July as a Muslim Heritage Month. I would really wish that that thing to happen so Muslim community feel honored. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Chair, there are no additional callers wishing to testify in support of AB 278 at this time.
Thank you, AVH. We did go over our 20 minutes on support. I will add those 6 minutes onto opposition if we need those. And right now, we will move on to testimony in opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 278? Seeing no one approach, we will go to Las Vegas. Is there anyone wishing to testify in opposition to AB 278? Seeing no one approach in Las Vegas, AVH, we're back to you. Is there anyone on the lines wishing to testify in opposition to AB 278?
If you'd like to testify in opposition to AB 278, please press *9 to take your place in the queue.
Yes, I am here. My name is Leslie Quinn. I am here in opposition to this bill. I'm very shocked. We live in the United States of America. I believe that all people are created equal, as the First Amendment does say. We have freedom of religion. However, we live in the United States of America. Now, let's remember and tell all the Jewish folks that were just recently beheaded and murdered by this religion. We do not live in a country that is Muslim, and yet this bill is going to seek to do that. Why are we not focused on teaching more about the United States Constitution and teaching that heritage? It's very important that we remember that we live in the United States of America. And why are we choosing a whole month during the Independence Month when our country was made free? We don't even give this much time to veterans. What about how Muslims have killed gay people? This is really despicable, and I'm calling out all legislators to, while you do want equity, diversity, inclusivity, you're really not offering that by asking for an entire month. If you want a day, that's something different, but let's just remember you live in the United States of America and not a Muslim country, and this bill is just going to push towards that. So please oppose this bill, and I ask Governor Lombardo also, if this does pass in any way, shape, or form, to veto it and make drastic changes, because this is not a good bill that is going to support the United States of America. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Katrin Ivanov, and I am so disappointed with this legislature. We have so many problems, and this is what you choose to spend your time on. This country was founded on Christianity, and if you're going to do a religion month, you should start with Christianity first. And stop separating us. You're separating us on purpose. Muslims and Christians, they all want to live in good economy, in safe places. They all want their kids to be safe in schools, and to study math and science and reading and critical thinking, not this indoctrination that is happening in the schools right now. And to pick July as a month, this is another total spit in the face of the people that voted you on. I really hope that you vote this bill down or the governor vetoes it, because this is ridiculous. I'm sorry that I sound upset, but I am upset. You guys just take us for granted. Once you get there, the companies keep giving you money and re-electing you, and it's very hard to get you out of there once you get there. Even the union was fighting against some of you there and couldn't get you out. That's how hard it is for new people to get in there. And you keep doing whatever you want to do, but we're going to make sure that people know what you're doing and what you're voting. And even proposing this is a spit in the face of every single American that lives in Nevada and all over the country. To pick that month of all the months, and you shouldn't even propose this unless you make Christianity a whole month for Christianity first, because this country was founded on Christian principle. The Constitution is written by Christian people. The Bill of Rights is written by Christian believing people. This is ridiculous. This has nothing to do with freedom of religion. This is just to further divide between the population.
Thank you,
Shame
ma'am.
on you.
That is
Again,
their 2
my name is
minutes.
Katrina Ivanov.
Thank you. Next caller.
Good morning to all my fellow Americans. I would like to share some facts with you. I would like to remind you that Islam, the religion of peace,
Ma'am,
in
can
its
you
origin
please
land,
state your
currently
name?
chants.
I'm sorry, could you please state your name?
Lorena Villasotti. Lorena Villasotti.
Go ahead.
So I would like to remind you that Islam, the religion of peace, in its origin land, currently chants death to America. I'd like to read a piece of the Quran that deems our very own founding fathers as infidels. And what does the Quran, the holy book of Islam, say about infidels? The Quran has more than 100 verses calling for death to non-believers. I'll read one piece here. And when the forbidden months have passed, kill the infidels wherever you find them and take them prisoners and beleaguer them and lie in wait for them at every place of ambush. Yet you chose the month of July, the month we celebrate our freedom in America, to honor the religion that does not believe in freedom of religion. Muslims are currently mass murdering Christians. Freedom? A practicing Muslim group, ISIS, currently stones gay people to death and throws them off of buildings. Lastly, I'll leave you with this question. What religion is Hamas? They were following their Muslim faith when they raped and slaughtered Jews. They were not condemned for it, but instead praised as heroes. Vote a resounding no to AB 278. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kathleen Schaefer. Kathleen, Kathleen, Schaffer. I appreciate all the comments that have made on both sides of this issue, and I understand that we as human beings fall on both sides of every issue. There are good, there are bad, there are dangerous, there are safe people all throughout our country. I agree wholeheartedly with we are a Christian nation. I agree wholeheartedly there are wonderful Muslim people, but we do not need to focus on something that isn't standing for what our Constitution stands for. We are Americans. And to pick again the month of July is an insult to us. I highly oppose just the fact that we as a country, we as people keep making these special holidays, these special months, these special considerations. We have Black History Month, we have Asian American Month, we have Hispanic and Native American and LGBTQ. It's getting diluted. It isn't even special anymore to have a month dedicated to you or a day dedicated to you. I highly recommend, if we want to bring unity between us, is that these organizations, different religions, different places, have fundraisers, have participation events where we can come and gather together on whatever day and get to know one another. If that's their focus for why they want this monthly honoring. So I highly stand in opposition to AB 278. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.
If you have recently joined and you would like to testify in opposition to AB 278, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Thank you, Chair. There are no other callers at this time.
Thank you. We will now move on to testimony in neutral. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in neutral on AB 278? Seeing no one, we will move to Las Vegas. Is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 278? And seeing no one, AVH, is there anyone on the line in neutral for this bill?
If you would like to testify in neutral for AB 278, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. I'd like to invite the sponsors back up for any final remarks.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I just want to say over here, I'm Assembly Member Hanati Nadeem. I just want to make a little statement, short statement. Islam is a religion of peace, promoting harmony, compassion, and understanding among individuals and community. The very word Islam derives from salam, which means peace. Peace, it teaches peace, kindness, and mercy towards others regardless of their background. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Brittany Miller for the record. I would like to say that I am a proud Christian and that we all pray to the same God of Abraham, Christians, Jews, and Muslims. And whether we refer to him by his English, Hebrew, or Arabic name, God, Jehovah, Allah, it's pretty much the same as saying dad, father, or pops. And that to be Christian is to be Christ-like. And from Jesus's examples and what the Bible teaches us about him, the one commandment that stays strong is that we are to love our neighbors. And love is an action, it is a verb, it is a choice. And love comes with advocacy, it comes with protection, it comes with unifying. I'm also the assemblywoman who represents a very diverse district. I am a Black and Arab American from Michigan. And while I have and continue to face racism, discrimination, and certain stereotypes because of my color and race, I have never once felt discriminated against for being a Christian in the United States or in Nevada or anywhere else. In my district, we have Jewish temples and synagogues. I have multiple different types of Christian churches and Mormon temples. I have Baha'i temples and mosques that are adjacent. There are 1.9 billion Muslims throughout the world. And if those stereotypes and those negative thoughts and images held true for 1.9 billion people around the world, let me just say the math doesn't math. As a teacher in CCSD, one of the things that keeps me there and one of the proudest parts of being there is seeing that kids here in Nevada have the opportunity to grow up in schools and communities and classrooms that literally look like the entire planet. Most of us in this room did not have that opportunity. I did not have that opportunity. I was the only person of color in most of my classes growing up. But I look at my classrooms and I see kids from every single continent, from hundreds of different countries. In fact, CCSD represents over 117 countries, and our students speak over 110 identifiable languages. There are more languages. My school alone, the students speak 59 languages. So to see the kids in a classroom with other kids playing and growing and learning and talking and communicating and socializing with kids from every country, race, color, economic background. I think what an advantage they have to learn so young to accept others as they see a world that is much bigger than themselves, that they are able to learn from similarities and differences and really grow up with the perspective of what this planet looks like. Those are the virtues that I hope everyone related to our school districts here, which are beacons and institutions of education, hold strong. With that, I thank you so much for your consideration. I thank you for your humanity, and I thank you for your support of Assembly Bill 278. If there's any amendments or anyone else that would like to sign on, we'd be happy to amend you onto the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, and I will now close the hearing on Assembly Bill 278, and we will move to our last item on our agenda, public comment. Public comment is not an opportunity to rehear testimony on a bill, and we ask that you please keep public comment to topics within the jurisdiction of this committee. As a reminder, members of the public can provide public comment in person or telephonically and may submit public comment up to 24 hours after the meeting. Instructions for providing public comment can be found on the agenda. To provide public comment telephonically, dial 888-475-4499. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, enter 863-3147-0646, and then press pound when prompted for the participant ID. Each person will have 2 minutes to provide testimony. Please remember to clearly state and spell your name for the record. Is there any public comment here in Carson City? Seeing none. Is there anyone wishing to provide public comment in Las Vegas? Seeing none. AVH, is there anyone on the phone line seeking? Oh, is there? Is there anyone in Las Vegas that wishes to provide public comment? Seeing none. AVH, is there anyone on the line wishing to provide public comment? We will go to the phone lines, and if there's someone in Las Vegas wishing to testify on public comment, we will come back to Las Vegas, but we're going to the phone lines at the moment.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to provide public comment, please press *9 to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Katrin Ivanov, and I just want to express absolute disappointment of the legislators that are there that are supposed to create laws to make our lives easier and more safe and more secure and the economy better. And instead, you guys are there just to get sound bites and to look better and to think about your next election. Don't care about the constituents, period. Bunch of the laws, first of all, 1,000 laws every session within 4 months. That's ridiculous. Bunch of the laws are in opposition of the new laws that you're making. So you can find guilty whoever you want, whenever you want, because those laws don't even coincide with each other. And to use your time and taxpayers' money for this kind of stupidity when we have real problems to solve. We have crime issues, we have school issues, we have economic issues, we have homelessness, our veterans are sleeping on the street, and this is what you choose to spend your time on? You don't care about us, the constituents. You only care about your political careers. And I wish that you would have done a good job so we can reelect you on a merit, not on the people that are pocketing your campaigns and you promising God knows what. And this session today is a total proof of it. That this made it so far, it's disgusting. And that you don't care about what we have to say because you feel secure of the people that's going to give you money that's not the little people, it's also disgusting. Things need to change, and I hope people start waking up and get you voted out of there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ivanov.
Again, my name is Katrin Ivanov.
Next caller.
If you have recently joined and would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no additional callers at this time.
Thank you. And it does look like we have someone wishing to provide public comment in Las Vegas, so please go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Assembly members. I just wanted to share something. As a human being,
Please state your name and spell your name for the record.
forgive me, my name is Rokai Yusufzai, Rokai Yusufzai. As a first generation refugee, I came to this country for hope and dreams of living the American dream. And with that, I take the time, my family takes the time to learn about the culture, to learn about what's going on in this country. How can we improve ourselves as a human being? I'm a Muslim by title, that is correct. By action, I'm also a Muslim. I affiliate with 4 major Jewish organizations in Las Vegas. I'm a member of the Interfaith Council. We bring the community together as a human being. We have several days throughout the year, that one of them is called a Day of Dignity, that we provide anything and everything that we can for simple things for a human being, not necessarily a particular religion or a sect or a race. We open the doors, they come, they get cold meal, hot meal, showers, they get barber. We have community events that is open to all members of the community, that they are welcome to come. This country was built on people that brought their values, their culture from other countries. We need to remember the history of ourselves, who we are, where we came from. Let us not be diverted to what the media injects in us. We have a duty and responsibility as a human being to take the time to study. I was there at the legislation for a couple of days. I spent a lot of hours there. I had a chance and pleasure of meeting a lot of Assembly and Senate members. I took the time for that. The reason for that is so I can get to know each individual as a human being, not as which party that they represent, not as whether if they're pro or against something.
Thank you. Your
It's
2
taking
minutes
the
for
time
public
to appreciate.
comment is up. If you could wrap it up.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in Las Vegas wishing to provide public comment? Seeing no one else, that concludes our meeting today. Our next meeting will be Friday, March 21st at 8 a.m. in room 4100. The meeting is adjourned.